Hi, it's Lynn from LynnieCDesigns, and today I'm going to show you, or try and show you, a version of this card that I made using the Beautiful Day and Butterfly Basics stamp sets. The other bits and pieces, I'm using two punches, the Pretty Label and the Everyday Label punch. I've got the glitter and clear epoxy shapes. These are absolutely lovely, so that just adds a nice little touch. Some multi-purpose liquid glue and dimensionals for the sentiment, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to use the large or the mini dimensionals, so we'll come back to that, I'm sure. Memento Tuxedo Black, Wisteria Wonder and Elegant Eggplant and Old Olive classic ink pads. Now the two purples are retiring, but they are being replaced by some really lovely new colours, so it's all very exciting. I've got a bit of stamping sponge just to go around the edge of one of the labels that I punch out, my trusty bone folder, my pokey tool, aqua painter, Wink Stella brush and the basic black Stampin' Right marker, and obviously my snips. So let's get on and do what we have to. Now, to actually save a little bit of time, there's not much stamping. I've already done the butterfly and fussy cut because it needed to be fussy cut. I've used both purples to watercolor and the aqua painter to do it on watercolor, and I didn't think you would want to see me colouring it, but I can do it. Leave me a I'll do a separate video if you do want to see it. Leave a comment in the below. So there's not a lot of stamping that I'm going to be doing now. The card base this time I'm using is a top folding Wisteria Wonder. I've got a layer of Very Vanilla to go in the inside, a matting layer of basic black, Very Vanilla matted on top of that just to leave a little border. I've got a piece of shimmery white which was used for the butterfly, and the a scrap of Very Vanilla for the sentiment. So I'll just do the little bit of stamping, and I'm using the sort of fern stamp from Butterfly Basics. Now this stamp set is going to be retiring, and I absolutely love it. So I'm you know, things have to change, and I do appreciate that. But there we go. We're using because it's photopolymer, we have to use or it's better. You get a better image by using the matte behind it. And I'm just going to have a play with these and arrange them, doing both full strength and second generation stamping. So you stamp it a second time without re-inking. It just gives you a little bit of dimension. So we'll just flip that round and come in from the other side as well. I just think it's quite nice. Just almost looks as if the butterfly is sort of flying around in the garden, so in between the ferns. So just turn that round, see if we're happy with it, and we'll add another second one. And now need to come back in and do the bit for the inside. I always like stamping the bit for the inside, so we'll come in and do just a couple of bits of the fern just to tie that in. I'm going to leave the inside blank, which I do rather a lot. Sorry about this, I just can't decide where I'm going to put the ferns. Being very indecisive. I'm trying to multitask. I've got dinner on the go, and I'm trying to get this video done before the timer goes off, so we'll see whether I'm successful or not. So we'll just stamp the sentiment in Elegant Eggplant on that scrap of Whisper White, and then we will punch it out with the Pretty Label punch. So again, it's a photopolymer stamp, so we'll use the stamping, the foam pad, and then we will bring in the punch and punch that out, and then we will start putting the card together. So I told you there wasn't an awful lot of stamping, so we're going to use the everyday label punch. Obviously, as I tend to do, I take that black punch out of the matting layer, because once the very vanilla stamp piece and everything's put together, you won't actually know that there's something's been taken out of the back of it. So we'll punch that out, and then just to define the edge of that, I'm going to open up the Wisteria Wonder, and with that small little bit of stamping sponge, I'm going to go round the edge. I think it just adds a little something extra and brings in the colour again. So we'll quickly just do that. And I had my ladies to class this Thursday and Saturday, and this is just one of the cards that I made for them. So let's put this inside one in. No, we want the ferns at the top this time, so we'll stick that layer in. Oh, there we go, and then put on the black layer. And this wet glue just gives you plenty of time to make sure that you've got it sort of straight if you're happy with it. So let's put a little bit of the stamped layer, a little bit of glue on the stamped layer, layer that up. I could have gone round the edge of that with the lilac as well, but decided against it. And with the Stampin' Up marker, I'm just going to go round the edge, the cut edge of the butterfly, just to cover any bits that I missed when I cut it out, and it just finishes it off as far as I'm concerned. I think it's my OCD coming in a little bit, but I don't like the white, or on this it'll be cream. I think it just finishes it off a little bit to colour that in. And so I've already shaped the wings of the butterfly to give it a little bit of dimension. So I'm just putting a bit of liquid glue along the body of the back of the butterfly, and then adding the sentiment to the black layer, sliding that about until I'm happy with the placement, and then actually think that needs a couple of the large normal size dimensionals on the back of that. That just pops that up, and we'll put that in the top right hand corner to balance out the card. I know you can have empty spaces in your cards, but I quite like to have that there. And then finally just put some of the larger glittery dots in each of the corners. I think that just gives a nice little touch. The butterfly's got a little bit of glitter. It's sort of shimmery because we used the shimmery cardstock. I may later add a little bit of Wink of Stella. And then I'm just coming in with one of the smallest glitter dots and adding that to the Eye of Wishes. And there we go. I think that finishes that one off lovely. So the first one I did was horizontal, and then it was landscape. So this is the card that I designed for class, and the background was made with the brick embossing folder. And I just lightly went over that with the sponge brayer with crumb cake, and it picks out the bricks and leaves the mortar blank. Sorry about that, the buzzer went off and I had to go and stop for dinner. So this is a very basic card. I've split the sentiment, part outside and part inside. Shows the flower, but this is sort of a very basic card. I've stepped it up here. I've created the background again with the brick, but this time using the a mask and brayering, and I've popped the flower up with dimensionals and added a bit of ribbon. And then the last one, I've used the same mask, but I've used embossing paste, and I have done some heat embossing both on the flower and the sentiment. The sentiment's on vellum, and that's lovely. And I've just added a couple of copper sequins. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up.